is like my fourth time recording this, so I'm just gonna go for it. Uh, I'm sorry. Happy Father's Day, Pops. Uh, Sorry, I'm getting this to you a day late. I was in the woods in the Hamptons yesterday during Father's Day in Manila, doing a gig with one of those awful women from that show, The Real Housewives of New York. It was horrible. But the gig was fun, but there was no internet, so I couldn't get this to you then. So without further ado, this is coming to you from America, where it's still Father's Day for about 6 more hours. And I wanted to shoot you this message to just say it's kind of weird that there's Father's Day. And that there's like a day in the year to be thankful for your dad and to express gratitude, because I feel like the last, I don't know, since I was 18, I've just been like growing and growing in how much I appreciate you and I love you and I respect you, and your beliefs and your commitment and your love and your selflessness. I feel like every day it just hits me and it broadsides me how much I owe to your generosity and the way you raised me and the way that you are with me, Joel and Ian. And I feel like every day has become more and more this sort of like expression of thanks, where I try to live my life not only to exist fully and to challenge people in a way that broadens their consciousness, but I do so very much more and more like with this understanding that I'm fully backed by you and Mom in the way that you guys raised me to be a figure who challenges and who speaks truth into people's lives. And I feel like the more I want my life to be a work of anything, I want it to be a work of art that that honors you guys, for all of the amazing things that you've done for me and your love. So it's weird to sort of sum it all up in a day, and I'm not going to be able to, but that's what this video is for, just to say thank you and I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for you. Before I left for New York for the Lincoln Center show just now, we had that conversation in the car where you said that you thought that my path would be a lonely one because you see me as a prophet, and I think it's really that moment was so important for me, and it was this final push to trust my instincts that I needed, and I feel like it totally affected my delivery and strengthened me throughout that whole performance, where I brought like 300 people who come from completely disparate paths and walks of life, like to a very sort of singular or single-minded journey, and challenge them, and I think that I wouldn't have been able to do that, to really trust myself and let go, if you hadn't given me that support and given me your blessing. And I think that it's indicative of the way you've always been with me, which is that you love me enough to trust me, and to trust God for me. And I can't think of anyone else who does that. I mean, you and Mom have just been so amazing in that regard of just trusting God, where me, Joel, and Ian are concerned, and letting us go, and sort of celebrating us as we go on our own journeys, and being there to dialogue with us, and just giving us all of the support and all of your patience and all of your love. I mean, that's just insane to me with how much we've dragged you guys through. But um, but I feel like your support and your how do I put this? Do you remember that time when we were in Pagudpud? And I think I've probably talked to you about this before, but it's an image that will always stick with me. And Joel and Ian and I were body surfing, and the waves got really big, and Joel and Ian came back in, but I was like losing my mind in the waves and having a great time, and I didn't feel them getting larger, and I until I heard you like sort of screaming for me, and you ran in fully clothed and like pulled me out of the water, and you lost a slipper, and I just remember feeling really bad that you lost a slipper. But more than anything, I just remember feeling very, very safe. And you lifted me, and I was like 16, and you like lifted me out of the water. And my whole life has been like that, I think, of just feeling very, very safe in your love and in your protection and in your guidance. You know, even when that horrible thing happened when Joel and I were little kids with that painter, I mean, uh, that moment could so easily have been a totally traumatic moment for me. You know, like it's the kind of thing that for a lot of people cycles back up into their identity and really, you know, is a very dark experience. Whereas I think for me, the reason I never repressed it, and it wasn't it never read to me as like a very traumatic thing that made me distrust people or broke me, because, and I think that the reason of that for that is because what really stuck in my memory, what I took from that experience more than anything was just like a sort of awe at the speed and the strength with which you came to my defense and to Joel in my defense, and your anger was like this anger of like a lion protecting his cubs, and I think that more than anything, that moment just read to me as what the meaning that I sort of made from that moment was just that I'll always be safe in my dad, uh, in my dad's love for me and his protection for me, and I and I and I mean that happened when I was 5, and I don't think it's ever changed. You know, like those two images are exactly the same to me as so many other experiences where I just know that at the end of the day, no matter what I do, no matter how broke I am, no matter if my art is successful or not, no matter if I'm lonely or uh, brokenhearted or depressed or having an existential crisis, it doesn't matter, because I just know that I've just been shown again and again throughout my whole life that you always have my back, and that you're there for me, and that you love me and you listen to me, and that's, you know, it just means the world to me. I mean, it's like my backbone in so many ways. You and Mom, but you in particular in regards to just feeling very, very safe. You definitely created that for me, and I think that that's the reason that I can do what I do now, you know, and just be very brave. I mean, everyone I meet who talks about how brave they think I am for like saying the things I do and living the way I do, and not apologizing for the things that I feel strongly about. I mean, I always tie it back to you creating that space in me and Joel and Ian to really fight for what we believe in, and to think hard about um, things like faith and things like politics and things like people and identity and the way we exist together and the way we exist in this world under God, and I think that all that I am today, that I'm proud of, I got there, and I'm getting there every day because I just know that I'll always have you to fall back on, and you'll always be there to give me guidance and to give me love, and to teach me and to protect me. So happy Father's Day, and thank you um, for everything. I love you, and I'll see you soon.